Hello, everybody. It's Elba coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome to Gratitude Friday. Welcome to the Gratitude Friday show. I am your host today. I am a transformational mindset coach, facilitator, and podcast. In today's segment, we have special guest here, Esteban Lutz.
Hey, everybody.
He is on point. He is actually the operator and owner of On Point Personal Training, and he is a certified fitness and nutritional coach. And he done so much. Okay, I couldn't put it all in there, but he was a consultant. He was a consultant for reality shows, so he knows what he's talking about. Okay. Also, he's been VP for major corporate fitness companies where he trained over 1,000 trainers, and they were like #1 in your market, right?
Yeah, ranked #1 in the world for multiple years in a row. So very fortunate to be part of a growing organization. They did phenomenal. Just had my top mentor was part of that organization. Just very fortunate. So I had about 3,000 trainers that went through that we coached and developed. And on staff, we had an average of right under 1,000 trainers at any given point in time.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm really excited about this. And Esteban, he kind of just found this out, but 4 years ago, I lost 95 pounds. So, and I managed to maintain. And when I interviewed that other day, you took my mindset about my body, my weight to another level, especially when it came to gratitude. When I talked to him, I was like, I got to have you on board, because that's the one thing I didn't even know. I guess I knew, but really didn't know, but how much gratitude really affects our body. A lot. So go ahead, guys. Go ahead, start liking and sharing this page, because more and more people get in tune with their health and their bodies, for their fitness, for their life, for their family, for the world, through gratitude. So go ahead, start liking this, start sharing it, start sharing, and let the world know that they get to be in health through gratitude. So with that being said, Esteban, the show is yours. You start off and tell us, what is your take on gratitude, and how is that connected to our health, or what is the fine thread in gratitude with our health?
So we can go a lot of different ways with this. One of the things that it's popular in the industry is we hear about cortisol. So cortisol is a hormone that gets released in that fight or flight syndrome. So a lot of it's a way to keep us safe. We're in a high stress situation and we fight out of the situation, or we get the heck out of there. The reality is we are in that state a lot when we're really not in a life-threatening situation. So I'm at work and it's crunch time. I've got to have this presentation ready. It's 3 o'clock. I've got to have it ready by tomorrow morning, whatever the case may be. So my stress levels are really high, and fear comes from that. Fear a lot of times leads into anger. The stress hormone goes up and it actually eats away the muscle tissue.
Ooh.
So in this situation, one of the things that I learned through studies, but it was actually a personal situation, which we'll probably get into here in a little bit. An opposite emotion or feeling is the gratefulness. So once we're grateful for one thing, fear and anger don't exist, or they're very minimized. Mm-hmm. So I understood that concept in physiology. We have what we call agonist and antagonist muscles. So I like teaching this a lot. In the one side of the arm, I've got a bicep, and the opposite side, I've got a tricep. So one's activated, the other one's minimized. It's hard to activate both fully, 100% at the same time. Same thing goes with emotions. And emotions lead to the hormones. So when my clients find a small bit of gratitude or gratefulness, the stress hormone actually goes down. And if the stress hormone goes down, you're not eating away the muscle tissue, so I can increase somebody's metabolism, and that's when they're seeing the waist shrink and all of the transformations.
Wow. So can you say that last part again, where you was talking about you can't have fear and gratitude at the same time, because Talk about that metabolism again. Like,
they're like
really dig into that, because I'm all about fat burning. Dig into that again.
So what we think helps with fat burning.
Right.
Think fat burning thoughts. So cortisol is a fight or flight hormone.
That I know.
So we hear about that a lot. There's thought patterns that'll take us there. There's certain foods that'll increase that. And when we have fear, when we have anger kind of linked in, cortisol levels shoot up. Anxiety, stress, gratefulness is an opposite of fear and anger. So if I have you think, would you happen to have any children? Okay. So when you think of your child, you're typically grateful of the child. And then immediately when we go there, the fear and anger, if it was at one point, disappears.
Exactly.
Could be for 1 second.
Right.
So at that point, that stress level comes down, that cortisol comes down.
Right.
So now you're allowing me, as your fitness coach and nutrition coach, to coach you and transform your body, because your hormones aren't fighting what I'm supporting you with as a coach.
Wow. So how does that scientifically, like the metabolism, like because the cortisol goes down, the metabolism rise up? Is that what you're saying?
There's other hormones that kick in. So the cortisol, being a fight or flight, if it stays heightened, there's stress and damage that could happen to organs, and disease can happen from that when we stay in an elevated state. But what it allows for metabolism or muscle growth to happen to where we're not eating away at that muscle tissue.
And that's where the fat metabolism or the fat burning happened, because the muscles is growing. Oh, you know what you didn't say it, but the picture I'm getting is that when we're in gratitude, what's happening with our bodies is when the cortisol is reduced, it creates that space. And in that space is where the muscle will grow, and therefore that's where.
That's good.
Right? That's where the fat burning happens.
Muscle and movement is metabolism. Yeah.
Because the reason when I was going through my own personal body transformation, I would lift more weights so I could burn more.
Right.
And I was in gratitude, so that's how I did it. But man, I guess what I'm realizing that I could have dug deeper.
Yeah.
I could dug deeper. I could be grateful even more. What more can I be grateful for? What could I appreciate more? Just for my own body, my own body's sake.
Absolutely.
So that really stirs my heart, because we're so hard on our body. Like, people who want to lose weight, we beat up ourselves. Like, people with body image. Like, what would you tell folks? I know you experienced this. I experienced this with people I've coached also that have issue with body image. What can you tell those folks about their body?
Find one thing. Start with one thing. Starts with one. The power of one. One thing that you love about yourself. So there's a lot of individuals. A lot of us have had body dysmorphia, where we perceive ourselves differently than others perceive ourselves, or what's reality. So it's a constant attack, self-attack. And I'm like, start with one thing. What is it you like? Do you like the way your eyebrows are? Do you like dimple that you've got in a smile? Do you like your teeth? Do you like your fingernails? Start with one. Do you like the way your arms look, or your waist, or your kneecap, your toe? Start with that one thing and build gratitude from that.
Oh, so start appreciating, start being gratitude with one part of your body. So when they start with that one part, do they look at themselves, say, you know what, I like your eyebrows? Just all day,
whatever the case may be, it's.
How do they practice?
We visualize that we can practice weightlifting. We were just in the gym. If you guys saw the video a little while ago, we were in the gym, and it's easy for us to visualize. I'm going to start with one rep. Let's say I want to work on my arms. I'm going to start with one rep, whether it's a shoulder press, whether it's a bicep curl. It's easy to visualize that. And then, over time, I could do more reps. I could do other body parts of exercise. Same thing with gratitude. The reality is we're all beautiful, amazing. And there's always somebody that truly sees us for who we are and the beauty that we are. So we practice one rep at a time. And that's, I like the way this eyebrow is. Okay, cool. I like the color of my eyes, and just you build off of that. So that's that's homework.
So, and you know what? I was so excited with our interview. I kind of want to tell the whole story because that's good, and I'm really excited. And I got a lady here I want to say hi to. Is Michelle. She's a very strong faith-based lady here. We have Karen Marie. She's strong base, and then we got Brian Schneider on board. Welcome aboard, Brian. It's good to see you. That's my buddy there. Check him out on the Brian Schneider live show on Tuesday. Tell them, the folks, like, let's talk about your story.
Okay.
I'm sure you knew gratitude all along because you've been in this industry for 20 years, but something happened that you really kick it a notch up with gratitude.
Absolutely. Okay, so my professional background, it's about 27 years that I've got in this industry. I went from being a fitness trainer to fitness trainer of one of the top fitness companies in the world. Actually worked my way to being one of the vice presidents of that organization. Phenomenal mentorship, phenomenal owner, board, employees, just second to none. It was a phenomenal, amazing team. Pre them selling privately, I resigned. I worked for another fantastic company based out of LA. It was 24-hour fitness, and it was an Apex division, which was nutrition and supplements with that, with the retail department. Mm-hmm. Amazing organization. Left that after a few years and branched off and opened up my own fitness clubs. So I did the fitness clubs for a while, did some consulting East Coast to West Coast, and over some chain of events over some years, I had lost everything. So and this was about a year ago when it all came to an end. So I got to a point where get a divorce with my wife, not really seeing my children. Financially, we had put every penny we had and every penny we didn't have into a business that we probably should have shut down 6 months previous to when we did shut it down. And I was in a place that nothing physical, no longer a situation where my identity was found with titles that I had achieved in the past, whether it was an executive title, whether it was this is a trainer of this city title, or this is the owner of this organization title. So the perception that I had of myself didn't match who I was at the time. So I went to a deep depression. It sucked, to put it lightly. And I was in a situation where my social circle was pretty non-existent because my social circle was all professional at the time. My immediate family lives about 1,000 miles away from where I currently live now. So not many people that I could physically lean on. And I had tapped into something one of my great mentors had mentioned. He said, I want to impact enough lives and keep strong relationships. When I die, more people show up to my funeral, than anybody else, because that truly would state how many lives did you impact. And professionally, I could say I've impacted tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of individuals. But how many of those relationships had I stayed close with? No, I had put up a wall to where you can get sort of close, but not too close. From my immediate family to all the circles around me, from church to the workplace. And I thought, holy cow, if I were to die right now, there wouldn't be anybody in my funeral. And that's when I was like, holy cow, it's time to change my priorities. And I realized at that point that what I had fought for professionally no longer meant anything to me. And that's when after being in a very low place, I tapped into gratitude, and I'm like, okay, what am I thankful for? Starting with the relationships that I had with my family. So I reached out to my mama, and I became 15 and 16 years old again. Yeah. And she came over, and she's like, hey, hold it. Take care. And she did. She came up, and it was phenomenal. It was like, okay, you're going through a rough period of time. And that's when I had practiced gratitude. So I didn't see it at first because I was in a clouded, crappy ass judgment, and I beat myself up a lot. then I'd have a moment of clarity. And I brought it here, different scripture that I would post on the mirrors. I'd have this in the mirrors of my bathroom and the front door. So it kind of gave me a big glimpse of light.
Can you read a couple of them?
Absolutely. So first one here, when you've done everything you can do, that's when God will step in and do what you can't do. Lord, when doubt fills my mind, when my heart is in turmoil, quiet me and give me renewed hope and cheer. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Definitely lean on that one a lot. God can restore what's broken and change it into something amazing. All you need is faith. And that happens to be this tattoo that I have here, F-A-I-T-H. And on this side, Grace, G-A-R-A. Not pretty cool, right?
That's freaking cool.
So I placed this in an area that I would see on a regular basis. So brushing my teeth, I'd see that. Going out of the door before I step out into the world, I'd see this, and it'd give me that little glimpse of gratitude, of hope. And as I mentioned, practicing exercising your muscles, I put myself in a place where I'd not watch any TV. I'd actually stayed off social media when clarity came into my head.
Okay.
And I'd watch inspiring individuals on YouTube. So I'd watch different, I'd call it self-help as a concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to practice on, okay, I'm in a great kitchen. I'm grateful for that. Okay, I have my skin on me. I'm grateful for that. So I literally practiced throughout the day. And sometimes it only lasted 1 second, sometimes 5 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a minute. But over time, I got a little bit better. And then reached out to my family.
For support.
Yeah.
So what I hear you say is that when you say practice, because I remember when we interviewed over the phone, you were saying how you will wake up and for the first 5 seconds, you would start it with your thank yous. I'm grateful for this, thank you for this, thank you for that. Then the next day, 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought, I never thought about that. Like build your gratitudes up in increments.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My mindset was in a dark place, was in a poor place.
Uh-huh.
It was broken. So I was aware of what we do for the physical body, and I was aware that through my years of experience, clients that had a positive mindset were able to change physically, emotionally, spiritually, with relationships, with finances. So I was aware that that mindset had impacted their lives on so many different domains and realms. That's when the clarity came to me, and it's like, wake up, Esteban. You got to practice this yourself. So I got in that moment of clarity is what I get to do this now.
So when you say clarity, what is that? What is that clarity moment? What was that?
Clarity was where I was not a victim. I was not a victim of my circumstance.
And how did that light bulb came on? Like, oh snap! How did that happen?
I can't say I could identify why it happened,
or how it happened.
It's just when it happened. It was in a state of, this is not who you are. This is not dictating what your possibility is from here, and that's going to my room. I have a vision board now. It's literally a glass on a wall, and I posted some more scripture there and the vision of who I am to myself and how I'm going to impact my family and how I'm impacting the world.
Oh, wow. So, and the reason I'm just curious because, sometimes when people are in the dark place, you can't see. Like, I remember the times when I was dark, you just cannot see. And so, how did the light come on? Boom. And I know what you had shared with me, really, it's when you just thought, my goodness, if I was to die, who's going to show up at my funeral?
Yeah. I'd say that was my base. That was my lowest point.
Yeah.
So from that was one step,
and
another step. And I crawled up.
Oh. And so,
doesn't mean that I haven't slid back down.
Right.
But that was falling up.
Right. And if you slid right back down, you came right back up. It's not like you went all the way back down.
Correct.
So it's interesting. You talk about clarity, how you feel connected. Because I remember, the way I met you is through emotional intelligence training that you have taken some leadership training, and I've seen you, and we talked about this, how you were showing up. Like, I always saw him like he's a cool dude, but just like you said, there was always this wall that you could get so close to. And then once you went through your own personal training, you had your support, you went through transformation, you completed your training. It's like I personally was able to pass that wall. And I was like, what happened? I want to know this story. I wanted to know you back when, but because of the wall, I couldn't get through the wall. But now that the wall is down, now I get to connect with you. So can you imagine, I'm just one person, how many other people feel that way? Can you imagine? Like, seriously, like, do you know how many, like, after today, how many more people are going to reach out to you because they've been wanting to connect with you and they're going to connect?
And ironically enough, that's what I needed. I knew I needed that in the past, but it would not allow that to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's beautiful. It's from one of my coaches. Thank you, coach. During a coaching moment, I mentioned, okay, I'm going to make these walls thinner, and then eventually I'm going to make the walls transparent so you can see through. He goes, how about not having any walls at all? And I was like, oh, good one. That landed. So I always felt there needed to be a level of walls, and that's based on my experiences and based on some coaching that I had professionally as well.
I get it.
The walls will be there.
Yeah. I'm glad they're not there. I'm glad. So here's another thing. I know we're already into 22 minutes in the interview. One of the things, can you talk more into about, I guess you did already, but I don't know if there's anything more. When I posted your promo, I said morph our body. What does that mean, morph? When I think of morph, I think of transformation, but I'm thinking of like Superman transformation. What does that mean?
I want you to visualize a butterfly. How's a butterfly start?
With like a caterpillar.
A little caterpillar, a little worm.
Uh-huh.
So beautiful as a worm, but now it gets to go through a breakdown. Because when it's all encrusted up, that's a crappy place to be as well.
Right.
And you break out of that, you break through that, right? And you morph into something that's beyond what the possibilities were before. So my goal as a transformation coach is to allow somebody to physically do that. And it starts with the way that we perceive ourselves.
Oh.
What we think, what we're thinking feeds our emotions. Our emotions are going to feed the hormones, and they kind of go back and forth as well. So that was a lot of how you perceived me or how I presented myself the first time that we met.
Right.
One of the things that I learned in a coaching many years ago was, I'll use this, if I place a pencil or a pen in my mouth, I have the same muscles activate of smiling. Okay. You do that within about 2 minutes, guess what? I'm going to start having happier thoughts.
Oh, just because you put a pencil in your mouth? I heard of that. Yeah. Just because.
So psychology changes physiology. If I don't feel great, my physiology is down. If I feel great, it's up. So physiology also affects psychology as well. So they kind of go hand in hand. And as that transformation coach, I support the body transforming so the mind feels better, and also transforming the mind so the body reflects what's going on internally. Step out there. Okay, it's right around the corner to the left.
We have some company.
I'm back. So that's always a cool part about doing a live show.
Yeah, I like it. So this is really interesting. So what I caught on to what you said is how it feeds. So it's like it's feeding one with another.
Absolutely.
So it's so important. So I guess like breakfast, like after we wake up, we have our first breakfast. For some people, it'll be from what I understand, depending upon, okay, so let me take a deep breath because I'm a little excited. When we wake up, I heard something about it's important that we are mindful of what's the first thing we put into our mouth.
Absolutely. It's that your day starts there. So you'll hear some things on, you got to eat within 30 minutes that you wake up. Others are you fast so many hours. My coaching is consuming a meal, high nutrient meal within 30 minutes of waking up. So all the studies have some truth and benefit to the study that was there. It doesn't mean that it's 100% for 100% of the people. The main concept is start your day high of nutrients. Because every cell that's made up on this great body is made up because of what you consumed.
Uh-huh.
So are we going to consume crap and get crap? Or are we going to consume high nutrient and get phenomenal things?
So with that being said, it's also important what we feed in our spirit, in our mind, emotion.
Yes.
So that's where gratitude plays a role, right?
100% yes, absolutely yes.
So what could a person can get out if they start off with their day, let's say gratitude, maybe a gratitude journal, meditation, gratitude, and a healthy meal? What kind of day they could expect?
It's amazing. I mean, you're starting off fantastic. So you're no longer trying to go uphill, rolling a massive heavyweight boulder. You're waking up and you have tons of energy. You're fantastic. You've got your vision clear. You know who you are, and you're able to take on your day. You're able to impact the world. So I say that you're a phenomenal. You're the boulder, and you're falling into a calm pool, creating ripples of love, ripples of gratitude, ripples of positivity throughout the community that you're going around. So I definitely encourage that on wake up, make sure your body's hydrated, properly hydrated, ensure that you're having a high nutrient food that supports what your body needs, and be grateful. Think of, okay, what am I grateful for right now? And here's where I'll give a shout out to my younger brother. He's got it to where we communicate within the family on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And part of what we communicate with is, what are you thanking God for? What are you grateful for? So we start with that, and that's practicing that muscle too. Irrelevant of the situation, if you guys look around, we're in a beautiful room. Mm-hmm. I give anybody in there about 5 seconds, you could find something in this room that you don't like. Mm-hmm. That kind of comes natural to a lot of individuals. So let's practice that. What are we grateful for? What are we grateful for in the seats that are here, in the countertop that's here in front of us, in this phenomenal camera that's right there? What are we grateful for here? So it's just one thing after another. What am I grateful for of you? I'm grateful. Thank you. Saying that changes your physiology. It definitely changes the hormones. You can see it in somebody's face. When there's graciousness, it's a relaxed state. It's a joyful face.
I feel really at peace. What you're sharing, I really do, and that's a good thing because that peace resonate within our bodies, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Is that if we can have that gratitude come into our body, it actually, as I'm saying this out loud, brings healing to our body.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. I just want to cry because there's a lot of truth to that, and a lot of people know this, but we don't practice it.
That's a big one. And that's one thing I notice. I'll use my industry as an example. Yeah. I'll have people that come to me, hey, Esteban, I read about paleo or the ketogenic or the South Beach or Atkins or just different nutrition programs, but they've taken zero action on any of them. So I recently went through an emotional intelligence and leadership school, and I had studied a lot of what was taught in that, but I didn't practice it in the physical experience format that I went through personally. So I'd say in that scenario, I got more out of these past 6 months than I have over the last 10, 15 plus years on learning similar concepts. And that's gratitude. That's one thing I noticed for myself. It's I'll read a book and I'll read on my phone and says, hey, make sure you're gracious. Okay, cool. Got to be gracious about something. But physically waking up and writing it down, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. And with my immediate family, we practice that. We're like, what are you grateful for? And that daily ritual changes who you are. I mean, it changes my mindset. Anywhere I go when I'm driving, I'm grateful for whether there's no traffic, I'm grateful for that. If there's traffic, I'm grateful for that. If my car starts, I'm grateful for that. I've been in a situation where my car doesn't start, so I'm grateful for the fact that I have a car. I'm grateful. So you start seeing things, and when you're grateful for a blessing, ironically enough, I'm able to see and receive more blessings. There's some things that I've heard on, you think one way you're going to receive more, and a lot of me believes that those blessings are always around us, but have I trained my eyes to see them? So the more I practice, it increases. If my practice goes down, my visibility for the blessings kind of matches. So I have realized for my personal life, as I increase my gratitude, I'm able to perceive more of the blessings. I didn't think about that until just now.
Yeah, and that's why I love this show, because this show brings out the vulnerability, and it's not me, it's not you, it's just the subject of gratitude. It just brings that in all of us. So that's why when I do this show, I get very moved in my heart by it, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're just humans who just want to live the most wonderful life. And the way you can find that is through gratitude. And this is the whole purpose of this show, is to bring awareness and value to gratitude, to awaken the gratitude in you, to dig deeper. And that's what he's done. This is what he's talking about. And what I'm catching on, what you're saying about practice, is being intentional. Is being intentional with gratitude. It's like we want to lose weight and we know all this information. We're ignorant by choice because there's too much information. And so it's up to us to choose to be intentional with our health, and so with our well-being. And the way you start off with that is through gratitude. And I by no means is a professional in that field. He is. He got 27 years. He's been a consultant for reality shows. He's a certified fitness and nutritional coach. You do meal plans. That's why we're in the kitchen, right? So he knows what he's talking about. So we're going to wrap this up. We're at 33 minutes. I'm going to ask you the last 3 questions. And then I know he got a website, so please check him out.
I have a gift for those watching as well, so
yes.
If you'd like, I can share that.
And what about the replay? If they replay it, would they? I don't know. He'll figure it out.
She's saying do it, so we'll do that.
If you share, I don't know. It's his business, but I'm trying to help you. So hi, Elena. Here's the question: what are you grateful for today, and why? And then I'll explain the 3rd question.
I mentioned you. I'm grateful for you because I get to practice the gratitude and the lack of no wall. So I appreciate that. I'm grateful for that. In this situation where what I explained where I was last year would have never been ever shared. So thank you for that. I'm grateful for the room that we're in. We had technical challenges earlier, and we're very fortunate to be able to shift into the kitchen. So it works out well.
Yeah. Okay, so today's gratitude is you're grateful for me because it supported you to.
Yeah. Thanks to this platform, I'm able to practice an area of my life that hadn't been flexed many times, and that's vulnerability.
Okay, and vulnerable, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So here's the third question. The third question is, what does that affirm about you? And so let me explain that to you, what that means. One of the things I learned about gratitude is that gratitude will link us to our affirmations, because when we receive our blessings, who can deny our affirmation? For whatever being we were, we attract that. So, for example, I used to say, I'm happy, I'm joy, I'm this, I'm that, but that was before transformation. I used to say that because I would fake it till I believe it. But now that I believe in myself, because my gratitude, my blessings tells me I am love, I am joy, and no hater, not even my own ego, not even my worst enemy can take that away from me, because my blessing is the proof. So with that being said, you're connected to, you're grateful for this opportunity for me in this platform to share and connect with that vulnerability about yourself. What does that affirm about you? I am what for that blessing?
So what comes out is joy. It just instantly comes out. So to have joy, you have to be completely transparent and vulnerable. Because when my walls were up, I wasn't able to transcend and experience and share joy in situations. Because for me, I had to show strength, my perception of strength.
He's joy. Oh my goodness. So Esteban, go ahead, tell us where folks can find you, the website, and also tell them what promo you got going on, because I know you got a promo going on. So go ahead, share everything you got. It's all you.
So I want to thank you guys for actually being in here for how many minutes are we now?
37.
37 minutes. Well, so thank you guys. Love you. Appreciate that. Website's an easy one. First initial, last name, elutzfitness.com. That's it, elutzfitness.com. So one of the things that I've been blessed to increase my ability to connect with people is I do weight loss challenges, challenging ourselves to rituals that didn't support the way of being that we truly are. So I have one that's launching, and it's a 28-day program. The results that we've gotten are phenomenal. So we've had an individual last 28 days lost 25 pounds, and another individual, which happens to be a family member of this person right here, 30 pounds in 28 days. When you practice these principles, it stays off. And one of the things that motivated me to learn this is life is now. And I got that from my experience of not living now, not being the dad that I could have been at that given moment. And a lot of us are held back emotionally, how we think of ourselves physically because of limitations. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to change immediately. We'll come up with that. So elutzfitness.com. We've got a challenge coming up. All the information is online, and the gift is 40% discount. So this way, there is no financial barrier. This allows individuals to go and do it. I was going to do it for the next 20 participants for that, but I have a feeling that this arm will be bent and it could be beyond the next 20 participants. For now, I'm going to state the next 20 participants.
So hurry up, okay? Like and share, like and share, like and share.
And I'll put the coupon codes in the description.
Okay, cool. All righty, gang. That is our show for today. The Gratitude Friday show with special guest Esteban Lutz. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're two Latinos. Isn't that cool?
Latinos in the Midwest.
So what I do is send off everyone with a kiss on the count of 3, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Mwah!